Your job will be, I'm speaking, your job will be to protect voters and election workers, not to undermine and dox them. Now, I know that earlier you agreed that Joe Biden is in fact president, but many of the president-elect's inner circle continue to spread the big lie about the 2020 election. Then we'll move on to a different topic.
Senator, you were speaking. May I speak? You cut me off when I was speaking. When I ask you the next question, you can
speak, and I hope you answer, Ms. Bondi.
Well, I'd like to answer the previous one, Senator.
When we met yesterday,
you pointed your finger at me and said you were speaking.
You did not seem to be familiar
let me answer my question. I'm not
going
to be bullied by you, Senator
the 14th Amendment of the United States of America, which was deeply disappointing.
I guess you didn't want to hear my answer about Pennsylvania.
After I gave an opportunity to study overnight. So can you tell me and this committee what the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment says?
Senator, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. If I am confirmed as Attorney General...
You're the one asking for a confirmation vote, ma'am.
Hey, you cut me off. Can I please finish?
What does the 14th Amendment say?
Senator, the 14th Amendment, we all know, addresses birthright citizenship. I've been a state prosecutor. I've been a state AG. I look forward to, even given your remarks today, working with you and the people of California if I am confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America. I didn't take your homework assignment. I'm sorry. I was preparing for today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As part of my responsibility to ensure the fitness of all nominees, I ask the following two initial questions. First, since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator. Senator Hirono, I wish you had met with me. Had you met with me, we could have discussed many things and gotten to know you.
I am listening to you now. Could you respond to the question?
Yeah, you were the only one who refused to meet with me, Senator. But what we would have discussed is that it is the job of the Attorney General to follow the law.
I'm very happy to listen to your responses under...
All right, guys, so once again, we got to talk about the Congressional Clown Show, the Senate confirmation hearings, in which you have Democrats hell-bent on embarrassing themselves, trying to get gotchas against Trump's cabinet nominees.
It would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him. Actually, starting back in 2016, they targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered even-handedly throughout this country. Senator, we've got to bring this country back together. We've got to move forward or we're going to lose our country.
Okay, and in this video, we got to talk about pencil neck Adam Schiff versus Miss Pam Bondi. Miss Pam Bondi is Trump's Attorney General pick. She replaced Matt Gaetz as the nominee after Matt Gaetz dropped out. I think that Miss Pam Bondi is thoroughly qualified, and I think she showed that she is a fighter during these Senate confirmation hearings. And again, Democrats, they didn't come to this confirmation hearing with an open mind trying to understand why Miss Pam Bondi is qualified. I mean, they already know she's qualified. They came to this confirmation hearing to try to humiliate her, and in the process, they just ended up humiliating themselves. So without further ado, I want to react to this exchange between Ms. Pam Bondi and Adam Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, as you know, the Supreme Court in Trump versus United States held the president has absolute immunity to commit crimes in certain core areas of the president's responsibility. One of those core areas is the Justice Department. So in a breathtakingly dangerous and irresponsible decision, Justice Roberts and the majority held the president could commit crimes using the Department of Justice and be immune from prosecution. Justice Sotomayor correctly said this new immunity lies about like a loaded weapon. So the fear and the concern we have is that the incoming president will use that loaded weapon, that immunity, to commit crimes through the Department of Justice. And for that reason, it is all the more important that we have an attorney general who has the independence, the strength, the intestinal fortitude to say no to the president when it is necessary. So my first set of questions has to do whether you have the independence.
You heard this guy? He wanted to say balls, right? That's what he wanted to say. Again, this is how desperate these people are to get on TV, right? That's what this is about. This is all about TV. This is all about trying to fundraise, trying to increase their profile while attempting to humiliate Trump's cabinet picks. But really, they're humiliating themselves. First and foremost, Trump does not have immunity as president for everything that he does, right? Yes, he has immunity for official acts, but for unofficial acts, he does not have immunity. And we're not even completely 100% certain how to differentiate between an official act and an unofficial act due to the fact that that was never litigated in court because the Supreme Court sent the Jack Smith January 6th case back down to a lower court for them to figure out what is an official act versus an unofficial act, and then come back to them. But since the case has been dismissed against Trump altogether because he won the election, we haven't really hashed that out yet. So for Adam Schiff to say that Trump has complete and absolute immunity when it comes to anything, right, is very premature, okay, because it hasn't been litigated in court yet.
To say no when you must say no. And you can say this is hypothetical, but it is not hypothetical. So let me start with one very specific non-hypothetical. The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without, you're a long practicing attorney, without looking at a file.
So you would need a factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
And not a summary by the president either, right?
Absolutely.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
I will look at the facts and evidence in any case. You know,
and sitting here today,
Senator, 72% of Americans
please, I only have
have
7
lost
minutes.
faith in the Department of Justice.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Sitting here today, yes or no?
Senator, I will look at the facts and the circumstances.
You can't answer that question. You're not a part of the department yet. There's no worry about divulging law enforcement sensitive information. So just tell us, are you aware of a factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Yes or no?
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news is
Are you aware of
horrible. Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not looked.
You seem reluctant to answer a simple question.
Because it's a stupid question. That's why. Right? The question is dumb. Like, it reminds me of the mainstream liberal media asking Republicans before the election, are you going to accept the election results no matter what? And it's like, what a stupid question. What do you mean, am I going to accept the election results no matter what? The election could actually be rigged, right? There could actually be real fraud that changes the outcome of the election. So no, I'm not going to accept the outcome of the election results no matter what. No, I'm not going to accept that. I mean, it's such a silly question, right? But again, the point is to get her to answer the question and to get a gotcha. It's not to get an actual real understanding, because everybody knows that she's not going to come out here and say that she's going to investigate Jack Smith or that she's not going to investigate Jack Smith, okay? She has to examine the facts, whatever those facts may be, in regards to whether or not it's appropriate to investigate him, and go from there. But she can't promise either way. She can't come out here and tell you, nah, I'm not going to do it. What if he's actually a criminal, right? What if there actually should be an investigation? Again, just like the election, what if there is actually fraud that warrants an investigation? You can't just ask me to preemptively accept something no matter what, or you can't ask me to preemptively say whether or not I'm going to investigate somebody when we haven't even examined the facts. It's silly nonsense. They're pretending as if it is impossible that Jack Smith could have committed some crime that warrants an investigation. So, I mean, it's just a very silly thing to ask.
Let me ask you a different simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that
No,
question.
it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
I am, right? I am. I think she should be investigated for witness tampering, okay? For colluding with Alyssa Farrah Griffin in order to improperly influence the witness testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson, in which we saw Cassidy Hutchinson at the January 6th sham hearing tell a story, a he said, she said, hearsay story with no facts or evidence behind it, by the way, that is so outrageous that it had to have been made up by some Trump deranged individual like Liz Cheney, okay? So yes, I definitely think, according to the GOP report, which recommended that she be investigated, yeah, Liz Cheney, there are factual bases to investigate Liz Cheney, okay? Now, Pam Bondi can't come out and say it, but I can say it, right? Yes, I believe so.
Senator, no one
Based
has
on
asked
what you
me
know.
to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a
The
hypothetical.
president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has
We're
called-
also
the
worried about
president-
Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has
You know what
called
we
for
should
this-
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
The
please
crime rate
answer
in
my
California
questions.
right now
You
is
are
through
aware,
the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
Your
my-
robberies
Ms.
are
Bondi,
87%
my
higher
question-
than the national
my question
average.
is this.
That's what I
My
want to
question
be
is
focused
this.
on, Senator.
Do you have the
if I'm
power to
confirmed
say
as
no to the
Attorney
president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president. So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell us, can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election? Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I
No,
won't
I'm just
do it.
asking you a simple
I
question.
won't play
If you can
politics
speak truth
with any
to
ongoing
power. So
investigation,
let me ask you another.
like you did
let me-
leaking your
let me ask
colleague
you-
Devin Nunes's memo.
If you can't answer the question, let me ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election, yes or no?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question. If you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in
No, I know you want to
Pennsylvania.
answer.
See how this works? You see how this works? Adam Schiff, pencil neck, ask a question about the 2020 election and fraud, okay? And Pam Bondi answers the question in which she basically is going to explain her problems with the 2020 election. All of a sudden, I don't want you to talk about it, right? I don't really want you to answer the question, okay? You're not answering the question the way I want you to. I try to get a gotcha. I wanted you to say yes or no. I didn't want you to actually really explain, okay? I didn't want you. Yo, this is a clown show, an absolute clown show. These people should be ashamed of themselves. There's no point to this. What is the point? Seriously, they ask these silly ass questions and they don't let the nominees answer the questions. So again, what's the point? They're not interested in an answer. They're interested in trying to get a moment. That's all they want. They just want a moment. They already know they're going to vote no, right? They already know they're going to say, nah, I don't want you to be attorney general. You already know how you're going to vote. I don't understand. I don't get it. At this point, I'm almost like, yo, if you've already talked to these nominees behind closed doors, I don't see the point, because again, this, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can say transparency to the public. Me personally, I just think it's a waste of time, right? To be honest with you. And I'm going to be fair about this. I also hate when Republicans do that too. I hate when Republicans do these, Senate hearings or whatever, these congressional hearings, and then they don't let the witnesses talk, right? They don't let them actually explain themselves and answer the question, right? I'm just saying that there needs to be less of these politicians, Democrats and Republicans, trying to make Hollywood television out of these hearings, okay? I think it's beneath Congress. I think it's beneath what the American people would like to see from our politicians, to be honest with you.
Different question, but my question is, Can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election? Yes or no? Was there
I
or
can
was there
tell
not?
you what I saw when I went
That's
as an
not my,
advocate
that's
to
not
the
my
campaign.
question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that even easy truth to us, let alone to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case.
so
Let
you'll
me
look
finish
at-
on a case-by-case
Okay,
basis.
okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that. So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President, I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
And
for
will
the
you be able to
pardons, as
do?
well
Will
as
you
the
be able to
ongoing
review
investigation.
hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am
Of course
asked
you
to
won't.
look
So
at.
will you advise the
Hey,
president?
can I
will
answer
you-
the question?
Well, my question
I
is-
would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review
Listen, I'm
hundreds
not
of
going to
cases on the first day?
mislead this body nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask
You were
another question.
censured by
It will
Congress,
also-
Senator, for
it will
comments just like this that
it
are
will
so
also- It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the
Do you
department.
see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against
Boom.
President Trump that was false?
Boom.
Is that why you're
Why do
frightened
you have
now? I can't
difficulty?
believe this is even.
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe
Why do you
you're
have
asking such a
difficulty?
question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
It shouldn't be a difficult question.
Wow. It's always projection with these people. These are the same people that went out of their way to destroy evidence. But yeah, he's trying to demand that somebody else don't destroy the evidence. Again, these people make me sick. Right? They make me so sick. I can't stand them. Okay? Can't stand any of them. But hey, Pam Bondi is definitely going to get confirmed. Right? So again, all of this really is just, whatever. It really just shows you how unserious the Democrat Party is. Okay, so they're trying to distract from the fact that currently out in California, Adam Schiff's state, they can't govern, right? Democrats can't govern at all. So now they are relying on congressional theatrics in order to make it seem like they're somewhat competent. But again, I just don't think the American people are falling for this. Good job by Pam Bondi of pushing back against the BS from Adam Schiff, who clearly is very, very, very Trump deranged. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.